So this video right here was kind of unexpected, meaning that I didn't think I was going to do this video. I thought the last one would be the last one for the year. But let me explain what took place today. I'm going to let you listen to a couple of videos first, video clips. And this is actually where Darth Dawkins is describing himself. These are two different clips. Here they are.
Totally, seriously, you should show your face for the first time ever on my show. That's epic.
Well, you'd really have to bribe me.
Well, we'll talk in private.
Listen, it's not going to be anything surprising. I've told people what I look like. I look like Taylor Hicks, but an older version.
All right. Well, then you shouldn't have.
I have a typical receding hairline. I don't have a full head of hair like that. I mean, I'm not completely bald. I have some hair on top. His nose is a little bit bigger than mine. His eyebrows are a bit darker, and I'm older. I'm older than he is. Okay? Other than that, I look like an older version of him.
Now, for those of you who do not know, Taylor Hicks, this is him in the image right now, but he was on American Idol a few years back, and he was a winner. But he went on to make several records and became very famous. But that's him. That's probably an earlier, somewhat earlier photo of Taylor Hicks. So as you can see now, what you heard is that Darth was describing himself as looking like this. Okay, now, and by the way, Darth Dawkins has used that particular icon as his avatar, okay, on, I think, YouTube. One of his YouTube channels, which is called 𝐸volutionfalse, that's the avatar that he uses. Now, as far as this photo, this goes back to his high school days. It's actually his high school graduation photo. And this was posted long before I ever was even on the internet. I shouldn't say posted, but it was known of. And I think probably it could have been posted. This is so old that it goes back to the Google Hangouts, which I never even participated in that. That's going back probably in the area of 10 to 12 years ago. And I'm not sure when they stopped Google Hangouts. It might have been a lot more recent than that. But there was already discussions of having his high school photo. That was already being talked about as far back as probably at least 8 or 9 years ago. So now let me explain what has took place since I did my last video, because as I said, I didn't think I was going to do another video for the year pertaining to this. But today there was actually some event that took place, which I'm not going to go into the full details. Also, I'm not going to show the information that I received in this video. And I have my reason for that. It's a very good reason. But let me explain. I have received from a relative of Darth Dawkins, and I'm not going to name who it was, but I have received 2 photos of actual photos of Darth Dawkins. Now, what I want to do is give enough information so that this can be considered verified or valid, information, because there's always going to be skeptics. There's always going to be those who say, well, maybe it's not his actual photo. So let me explain what I did. And I'm going to be very transparent about this. A few days ago, probably actually over a week ago, I already had, for quite a while, I had the contact information for some of Darth's family members. I had the actual contact info. I actually contacted some of his family, or whether you want to say relatives, I'll just put it as relatives. Let me put it that way. And through that process of me contacting them, I was very clear about what I was doing. All right? And I wasn't trying to hide anything, but I was very clear as far as the idea that of what type of a person Darth Dawkins has been online. And I explained in my email that Darth Dawkins is an extremely rude individual. And he, far more often than not, treats his interlocutors in an extremely rude way. Now, those were not the exact words I used. I'm paraphrasing. But I even included the link, and I mentioned that Darth Dawkins went into a YouTube live stream, and I did a video on this, actually more than one video. That's where he in an attempt to fool, and I will leave that link in the description area of this video. But on that occasion, he deliberately and very, very deceitfully and deceptively premeditated the idea of going in and trying to create the impression of him being someone who he actually was not. What he basically did, he took a video which already existed, and he took that video clip and he edited it. Basically what he did was, well, a couple things. Number one, he created a loop in that particular video, and he tried to, secondly, create the impression that that was himself. So in other words, he took someone else's video, edited it premeditatedly, and then he deliberately and deceptively went in to a YouTube live stream and he played that particular video clip, trying to leave the impression that that was actually him. Now, what actually happened, let me just give a little more information. The person that he took the video clip from was, in fact, already deceased. That person had been deceased for approximately 1 year. So after Darth did what he did, he went into his atheist helpline or whatever server it was, and he laughed and joked about what he did. Shamelessly laughed and joked, and he referred to what he did as, quote unquote, a practical joke. So remember, this guy is claiming to be a Christian. Darth Dawkins, if you're listening, I got 3 things to say. Number 1, Matthew 7:12, read it. Number 2, Matthew 7:12, read it. And number 3, Matthew 7:12, read it. Okay? That's the best advice I got for you, pal. Now, to those of you who may not know what that is, well, it could, in the secular world, it's called the Golden Rule. It's basically saying, treat others the way that you want them to treat yourself. Or in the scriptures, I'm paraphrasing, but it says something like, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's the greatest lesson that Darth Dawkins could ever learn at this point in his life. That would be an epic moment of biblical proportions if he could wrap that idea around in his small head, okay? But anyway, I don't want to rant. This is not about ranting. This is about getting the truth out. Now, I have my skeptics. You saw, if you looked at the videos that I posted recently, you saw some comments from my skeptics. Oh, why are you doing that? You're doxing him. Well, number one, it's not doxing if the information is already out there. In other words, if I go to a public platform such as Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and I take a photo which is already publicly displayed, and I show that, again, that's not doxing because the photo's already out there. Now, I'm going to admit right now, and I'm not a liar, I'm not going to lie as to what I did. In this particular case, the situation is a little different because I'm getting the photos from the relative, and these photos, to my knowledge, are not available publicly, to my knowledge. So now let me give a little more background about what I did. This will further show the credibility, because actually I lost credibility on the videos that I recently posted. I lost credibility because I actually posted videos which were not actually him. So my viewers or my subscribers, some of them probably considered that, since I was not showing the correct photos, in their minds, it created a question as far as my credibility. So one of the reasons why I'm doing this, mostly I'm doing it to get the truth out about him, because he has said, and I will play the clip now, he has said that there was information about him that people thought was his, but he claimed it was not his. I'm going to let you hear that right now.
Twice, okay? And I confronted this guy, and he refused to interact with me. He refused to even talk with me. Now, he has posted what he believes is personal identification about me. Now, he has gone out of his way to take information that he thinks is mine, right? And he's deliberately posting it. From his point of view, he thinks he's perpetuating the doxing of me. Smokey Saint knows this. And he has had him on a number of times praising this guy, a guy who's engaging in what he thinks is doxing. No, I've never given out my identification. I know there are people who are giving out information they think is mine, but the point I'm trying.
Now I want to add a couple notes at this point. As far as this high school photo, I did not know or was not aware of this high school photo until after I had already did the YouTube video about Darth Dawkins, the original YouTube video that discussed doxing. I had already did that, and I didn't know about this particular high school photo until well after, probably 2 years later. I saw this high school photo on Jack Angstreich's profile in, I believe it was Discord or Clubhouse. That's the first time I ever saw this photo. I knew of it, but I didn't actually see it until that point in time. So when Darth is talking about people who supposedly had his information, they already had it, and that's a fact. The information that they already had didn't have anything to do with me. because it had already been obtained before I even had a YouTube channel, or before I was online saying anything about Darth Dawkins. His identity was already known, his actual name. Now, what we saw earlier this year in June was a website that came out which fully exposed his identity. We know his name. We know the name of some of his children. Actually, I think all of them. He has 5. We know the name of his ex. We know his birthday. We know the name of his grandmother, deceased. We know the name of his grandfather. We know the name of his father. We know at least one of his former addresses. So we've already known quite a lot about him, especially since June of this year. And so now I'm going to get back to what I was originally going to say. But I had contacted these family members. I sent out exactly 3 emails. Okay. Now, the email account that I sent out my email from was a sock account. Now, to those of you who may not know what that is, in other words, what I did was I went and created a brand new email account. It was not from my standard or my most commonly used email. It was a brand new email account. Brand new. Never been used before. Those were the only 3 emails that I ever sent out from that account. I never shared the name of the email address with anybody. Nobody knew of it. I was the only person that knew of that email account. I was the only person that had that email address. So the only 3 people that received my email were the family members that I already had their contact info. Other than that, nobody else ever received anything from that email account. So I know when I received my reply, it was not from somebody else other than those 3, one of those 3 people. Okay? So when I received that reply today, I know that it has to be from one of those 3 people. It couldn't have been anyone else. The only possible way it could have been anyone else was if one of those 3 people, or 2 of them or 3 of them, gave it out after I sent them the email. And then after they gave it out, then somebody else replied. Now that's the only other alternative that which just the idea of them doing that, there would really, if you think about it, it really doesn't make too much sense. Why would they do that? There wouldn't really, in my mind, and I don't think there would be in any average person's mind, a reason to think that that's what they did. So I believe fully that the email reply I received was from only one of those 3 original people that I sent it out. Okay? So with that being said, let me explain what they sent to me. They only said 4 words. They didn't write anything back to me except 4 words. All it said was, "No further contact, please." That was it. By the way, in the email that I sent out to them, I was clear in saying that this is a one-time email. I will not attempt to contact you again. So I knew that if I didn't receive any reply from anyone, I probably wouldn't. So I was clear about that. I was upfront about that. Okay, along with the 4 words, there were 2 images that they sent to me, 2 photos. If you look at the photos, they match how Darth describes himself. And they also match, they are very similar to the photos or pictures of Taylor Hicks. There is a strong resemblance. Okay, so now let me get to the pictures or the photos they sent. There are two of them. I am not going to post them in this video. I'm going to put a link in the description area that will refer you to my website, and there you will be able to see the photos, but I won't post them in this video. I have my reasons for why I won't do that. If my critics want to be skeptical and want to have any type of feedback or pushback on that, so be it. Let them leave the comments in the description area of this video. But I have my reasons for why I'm not going to show it in this video. And if someone doesn't understand that, I'm sorry. I'm just saying that in that regard, I'm not going to post the images in this video. But if you go to the description area, click on the link where it'll say something to the effect that these are the photos, and it will redirect you to my website. There will be two very clear photos. Okay? And you will see that these are the two that I received today. So, now let me close this video by saying something. I want to go back to the incident that took place in the live stream where Darth tried to fool other people, but he was exposed. We caught him. We knew that he was a liar. We know that he's deceptive. He's extremely deceitful, and he is a premeditated. That's the thing. Remember, keep that in mind. He did that with intention. It wasn't an accident. He did it with full intentions of deceiving and tricking others into believing in something. This is the same guy who says he is a born-again Christian. If anyone wants to accuse me of doxing, so be it. Now, let me explain what this photo is. This is Patrick Ravelli. This is the individual that he went to Patrick Ravelli's YouTube channel, and he took a clip from Patrick's YouTube video. I contacted the Ravelli family, and I let them know what Darth did. I never received any reply from them, but I was clear. I left the link to what Darth did. I gave them that proof. I showed them what Darth did. And I never heard anything back from them, which I'm not going to press the issue anymore. This issue is now over with as far as I'm concerned. It's totally, completely over with. Other than just responding to comments in this video, there is no reason for me to do any other video about this. Okay, but I will say that I am very happy to end the year with the idea that we caught Darth Dawkins in his deceitfulness. He can laugh and joke about this video all he wants. Darth, if you're listening, I don't give a crap if you laugh so hard that the tears come out of your eyes. I don't care. But I'm very happy to share this information to let others know how deceitful and how deceptive you are. And this is a video I dedicate it to the Ravelli family. I dedicate it to the memory of Patrick Ravelli. In a way, it represents kind of like a revenge. And the revenge is very sweet for me. And it is for some of the contacts that I have who have worked with me And so I'm going to close the video now. This will be the last video for this year. I thank all of my subscribers. The people who watch my channel, I appreciate very much. I appreciate if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. I also appreciate the people that I have been in contact with especially over the last year. All of those people. One of them, his name is Oscar. I will leave his YouTube channel link in the description area. He has, from time to time this year, several times, helped and provided the information, especially the one about the deception that Darth did on S.J. Thomason's YouTube channel. So since that point in time, I've been in pretty close contact with him. And so I appreciate his assistance. So again, please click on the link in the description area and you will be able to see the 2 photos that I received from the family member that sent them to me today. All right, so I guess it's a done deal. All right, you all have a great new year. I hope you will be as happy as I am right now. Bye-bye.